And here we are with show number 51. 5 and a 1. I never think that I was going to see those two numbers together, but here we are with the last Angry DJ. My name is Mitchell K.C. Hill, as sometimes it appears. There it is, the magic of the lower third. Thank you, Mimo. Thank you, Alex. We appreciate that. We're very pleased to be here. We encourage all of our regulars to interact with us and tell us what they think of the show. And let me introduce my famous co-host here, Mr. Alexander Knight. There he is.
Good to be here, Mitch, for episode 51 of The Last Angry DJ. Yes, that's right. I am Alexander Knight. And we are back with our regular system. We're broadcasting in 4K with our regular graphics. We had some issues last week, but I think we've got them resolved, and we're still investigating that. But it's good to be back. This is The Last Angry DJ, where we talk about the world broadcast. We interview luminaries in that world, everyone from DJs to salespeople to engineers and radio station owners. We also talk to content creators. This is a show that bridges the gap between old world media, new media, so podcasters, YouTubers, that kind of stuff. And there's going to be a lot more to come. We have a lot of guests planned for this show. And we thank you for sticking around, and just want to acknowledge some of the people in the chat today that are here. We've got Hershey Trevetti, we've got Ernesto in there, Steven Stryker's in there. So thanks, guys, for hanging out.
Yeah, great.
Oh, let's get this party started. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, we're going to get this party started. We're going to talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. It's a Boffins edition of the show. And Alex, why don't you explain what that means? Because you came up with the term. So it's on you to tell us what is a boffin?
I think, I don't have the Oxford Dictionary in front of it. It's a British thing.
It is
basically,
a Brit term.
Boffin is normally used in reference to anybody with a quote. Sometimes you also call them neckbeards. So typically, wait a minute, time out. Neckbeards? Neckbeard. The British say, look at that neckbeard over there. It just means someone's like an engineer, a real nerd. Smart person, but a nerd. So that's usually what it means.
There's a lot of crazy
I will
English
look up
phrases.
I will look up the official definition for you.
I've heard boffin used, and not to be confused with what was it in Star Wars? And she says many boffins died. It wasn't a boffin. It was Bloodfucos, or I don't know, whatever they were. But there's a lot of different English phrases which are strange. And I don't understand them. Like when they're complimenting, I had a car that some English friends were complimenting. Hey, that's the dog's bollocks. And I'm like, what? Apparently that's a legit compliment that can come from our English friends. And of course, there's a bunch of other ones that we won't talk about because they're going to be misconstrued, and then we'll be in trouble again. So here we are doing our Boffins thing, and we can open the floodgates of questions. So you can use our Discord interface, or just do it on YouTube because it's a live show. We'd love to hear what your comments. We were talking about coffee a little bit ago. Steven Stryker's in there complaining about he just hit 7,777 miles on his Beamer. So congratulations, Steve. That's the number you should play in the lottery, or if you're pulling slots at a local family casino, whatever you want to do. All right, here I go. I'm going to go on a rant about something. Here's my rant. You know what an avatar is? Like when you join Google or YouTube, there's a little picture of your face doing something, or your pet or whatever else. And my bitch about avatars is that if it's a person, it's you 30 years ago. And I looked at mine and yep, mine's about 20 years old. Or it's a caricature which looks nothing like you, or is enhanced to make you look thinner, better, or whatever. So avatars, somebody needs to come out with a rule or a rating system that says, if you're going to put an avatar up, it's got to be accurate, or it's got to be representative of you. And I don't understand this thing where some avatars have to be black and white, some have to be colorized, all of those things. Do you have a similar beef, Alex, Mark, about avatars?
I will definitely say that I do a little bit, probably not as much as you, Mitch, but it bothers me when people use anything but themselves in the avatar, because I think that's kind of the point. I'd like to know who's on the other end. So when people put a photo of their cat or a photo of their kid there, it's just kind of goofy to me. I know there's no rule for this, but it does bother me when somebody does that, for sure. What about
So
you,
if,
Mark?
if
Do
you're
you
using a
care?
picture of your, I was just going to say, if you could put a picture of your pet up, everybody thinks their pet is ultimately cute. There is a standard for that. And just because you have a pet doesn't mean it's automatically cute. It could be an ugly pet, like a frowning cat or something like that, or a baby. Like remember the Seinfeld episode about the ugly baby? And Kramer went absolutely berserk. Anyhow, Mark, you were going to say, what's your
Well, I was
beef
just
on
going to say,
avatars?
do you think some people don't want to use their real picture for identity theft reasons?
Oh, I could search you on the internet, and your picture's all over the place.
Well, especially on post office walls, but that's a whole different story.
We could do a ruthless review of each other's avatar. And my beef is, first of all, I have no hair, so that really pisses me off. And Alex is sporting the fact that he doesn't choose to have hair. There's a difference there, right? You choose not to have hair, but you do have it underneath that hat.
Well, I mean, I
And
have some hair, but I've been losing my hair.
pull that
since,
hat off just for a second. Show everybody what you.
It's in the genes. I mean, my grandfather, you can sort of see on the
You
side.
got hair, man.
Yeah,
you got a fuzz.
I got
You got
some, but I mean,
a buzz thing going there.
so
And then Mark, as an avatar, he's perfect. He's got a round head that would fit into those round Google avatar things. And isn't it? I mean, is that a compliment? I guess.
and I just want to say for
Yeah.
a second, because Steven Stryker's calling me out on the chat, says, does that hat come with a bowl of soup? That's what he's. I guess he doesn't like my hat.
Ooh. Do you like people that stir their coffee or their soup and make a lot of noise with it? Or if they're eating salad, they poke all over the salad before they pick up? It's like, take that piece over there and just put it in your mouth. Some people just have to sit there and, constantly pick away at their salad. Anyhow, avatars, should they be more, let's live in a more perfect world. And nowadays with AI, you can have an avatar that looks better. And here's the other thing that's crazy, is they can take a still frame of your picture and turn it into a video. Have you seen what they've done, like with the Mona Lisa smoking a doober? She's like, doing her smile thing, and then she just starts smoking a doober. Or the picture of Einstein with a bunch of other professors, and they jump up and start dancing. I forget
I've
the
seen
name
some
of the. There's some pretty crazy ones out there. Anyhow, avatars. What are you going to do? Those kind of things going on. And again, feel free to ask a question or make a comment, because we're up for that kind of stuff here on the Boffins edition of our show. Actually, we're kind of doing the Boffins edition today because we're trying to iron out a few little technical difficulties that we went through, and we think we have a game plan. We don't need to go into details about it, but Alex is true to his form, is the tech boffin that he is. Jumped all over the. Somebody has now. Go ahead, you can read it. You searched it. Alex has got the actual
I just posted
term.
the official definition. So it says it is a British English informal word, a person engaged in scientific or technical research, a computer boffin, for example, person with knowledge or a skill considered to be complex, arcane, and difficult. He had a reputation as a tax boffin, a learned lawyer.
I'll take that boffin identification. I'm definitely difficult. Everybody knows that. And Alex, on the other hand, is more the tech guy. And then Mark, you are the radio owner. You're the calm, collected, good influence on us. Because you got to rein me back in when I get a little too crazy. So
I've pulled all my hair out.
You're follically challenged like I am. So I always look over to Mark to see when I'm dropping something that I shouldn't be on the air, and I look at Mark, and he just sort of grins at me. It's like watching what is it, real time, the final questions that they do, and they switch to the guest, and they can tell whether their sense of humor has been struck or not, or they're trying not to smile at something that's being said. That's just comedy. What are you going to do? All right,
We do have a question on the subject.
Oh, let's go do it.
From Laura. What do you recommend for security as a woman on the internet? I've changed to a rainbow star on a large platform and get less stalking that way.
Can you explain what that is, first of all? The security? I'm not sure I understand the question. Mark, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Basically, I think what she's saying is to defer from people trying to stalk you as a woman. That may be why you don't want to use an actual picture of yourself
Huh? Well, that's
for
legit.
security purposes.
I'm so naive. I don't think any of this stuff goes on, and it does. There are stalkers out there. They're bad people. But here's the other problem. Once your name is out there, I guarantee you, if you do a search, it has a nickname for that. If you search yourself, your name, and you see a picture of yourself, and you go, "Oh my God, where did that one come from?" I mean, somebody out there is scraping the internet to pull that stuff down, right?
Yeah, but don't you think that's why a lot of people that are in public don't use their real name? They use a stage name.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the funny thing is, radio guys. I mean, 90% of them out there, at least during the heyday of radio, used alternate names. Some of them good, some of them bad.
I don't know half my employees' real names.
Really, they have radio names.
They all have radio
What do you
names.
do when the 1099's got to come in?
We
And you
put
gotta,
the
you
real
know-
name on it then, but
Oh, I got it. So, some of the great radio names that I've used, Mike Switch, it was one of the names that Pete Moss, Sam Diego. These are people that actually had these radio names, over the years. Nowadays, it's, you got to use your real name. But, back then, we used
Well,
crazy names.
Laura says that she gets a lot less creepy messages when she doesn't have her face on her profile.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. No, I think it's legit, Laura, but, then use a caricature, something that's generic. I don't know. Maybe that's the way you got to go. Or maybe somebody has to invent a caricature. You can buy them on the internet for like $90, and somebody in some third world country draws your likeness, and they usually take some part of your body that on your face, like makes your nose twice as big as it should be, or my chin is like already pretty gobbly. It's a gobbly chin, this chin. So yeah, okay. Avatars. Any other avatar related questions? Anything coming in over YouTube that we need to mess with? And Steve is corrected. It was 77,777 on his car. So the beauty of real-time radio. We love that stuff. It's fun to do that. All right, Discord. Why is it so friggin' complicated? I mean, for me at my age, Discord just means I'm jumping into a bit of a rabbit hole, and it's like, how is the best way to utilize it? I mean, if it's going to be the standard, by all means, let's make it. Where did it come from, and why is it so popular nowadays? Can anybody answer that? One of the Boffins, maybe?
Discord originally became very, very popular as a communication tool for gamers. And you can still see that in a lot of the designs and the features and the functionality, but it's largely kind of broadened out, and now a lot of individuals use it for things to just in general as a general communication tool. I used to use Slack a lot. So Slack is still popular in the corporate business world, but I just feel to me Discord just feels like more of a kind of a fun interface. There's a video and audio component to it as well, although that doesn't work as well. But it's still kind of a weird looking interface, and it took me a while to kind of figure out the whole concept of a Discord server. And when I was looking up originally what that was about, I thought, I got to host my own server. What is this? But it had nothing, absolutely. So the nomenclature, the way that they've chosen to brand it is extremely strange. And I think that's part of they've created all this friction to jump into it. Now, of course, a lot of people that are technically minded have no issue using it and setting it up. But even I can tell you as an administrator of our own Discord server, there is a lot more work in setting that up properly, understanding how permissions work. So as a tool, it's powerful, but you got to spend the time to learn it, and it's not obvious.
I think we lost.
I think we lost Mitch.
in the
You
storm.
lost Mitch. The wind blew too hard.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Knocked me off the air.
That's okay.
Hold on.
Well, while we're waiting for Mitch to come back, Steven Stryker says that he uses messenger pigeons, that he likes that over any one of these messaging systems.
Yeah, and he also said, that's funny, going back to the, Mitch's picture is on OnlyFans. That's hilarious, Steve. Thank you, thank you for that. I'm sure Mitch will appreciate that. Somebody still wants to look at. Someone still
No,
wants to.
I'm sorry, we can't. You missed it.
You missed it. It's too late. I think your videos. I'm still seeing your video frozen here on my end, but I'm
No,
not
he's
looking.
moving. I see it.
Oh, is it? Well,
Yep.
Mimo lot. Not inside of Mimo. You are frozen. So I will. Let me just see if I can. I'm gonna go up to. We are. Hold on a second. Let's just let me try something here and see if I can do this without crashing.
So
Yes.
while Alex is doing that, I think that the reason that they came up with the term server is because you can create a lot of folders for a lot of topics. And what would be above a folder on a computer network? To non-technical people, a server, rather than a partition or whatever.
Yeah, that's just it's an automated bot that adds a lot of functionality to your server. It'll post well, you can hide the sidebar. You can, if you don't want to see, that's just in the list. It shows you the sidebar with who's actively on your server, online and offline. So you can just hide that toolbar if you don't want to see people. It won't let me, hold on a second. Oh, I see what's happened. Okay, interesting. I just found a new bug that I'm going to have to report. So if somebody's video dies inside of Mimo Live like this, when they come back in, it shows up. Now I've got 2 Mitch Hills, and now you're back. So that's a bug. That's a bug. That even might be a Zoom API bug. So we'll figure that out.
I could tell you what causes me to drop out, and I have to pay to fix this. I've got an OWC Thunderbolt hub, and what's happening is that it has a plug in the front for the computer, which I hate, and everything else I have from OWC is spot on. But the plug, not the wire itself, because I replaced that, is the connector. Every once in a while it loses connection, and all my USB goes, which means everything on the computer is caca. Is that a Boffin term? Can I say that? Caca?
That's some kind of term. I don't know if that's an officially in the lexicon of the Boffins, but
yeah. So if I pound the desk to make, I do my Castro move or whatever. No, that wasn't Castro. Who was it during that?
It doesn't
Khrushchev.
matter.
It was a Khrushchev thing. He used to pull a shoe off and bang it on the table. If I do, Mark is going through it. If I do any banging on the table, it's going to jostle it just enough to go. So let's take votes and see how many times I'm going to get bounced off before I'm going to have to pony up the $250 to get a new OWC. So if you're watching OWC, please help me out. It's like important. Do we cover Discord? Are we happy with the
I think that pretty much covers it. But
okay.
I will plug it, because if you do want to join, if you don't know what this thing is about, you can actually join our Discord community. You don't even need to click anything. All you need to do is take your phone out of your pocket like this, turn the camera on, and point it at this QR code right there at the lower left. And if you do that, it'll take you to the invite page where you can join our community. And Discord is our community where everybody is, and that is the best place to talk with us, with Mitch and I, with Mark, with everybody else. And you can tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. And if you have any ideas for guests that you want to pitch who would be a good fit for this show, that would also be a good place to go for that.
Yeah, speaking of guests, I've screwed. I mean, when I make a mistake, I make them big. I've been asking to get Adam Curry on the show, and I'm thinking of Adam, the other Adam. What's his
Adam
name?
Carolla.
Carolla, the other Adam. That's Adam Carolla is the one I want to get on the show, but I keep asking for Adam Curry, and he's like, who what? He wants what? Adam Curry used to be on MTV, and he was one of the first podcasters, but Adam Carolla is the person I want to get on the show, and I've just got the two names short-circuited in my brain. So I apologize for that. It's unfortunate, but my buddy out on the West Coast who sort of handles that kind of stuff said, I have no idea who you are, and what are you talking about? Adam Curry. Why would you have him on your show? So anyhow, those are all fair game. Questions, comments, things that you would like to see us do that we're not doing. Am I babbling too much? Am I talking too non sequiturs today? Hey, it's the Boffins edition. These things are going to happen. All right, next, rap, bitch, whatever you want to call it, a Mitch bitch. We'll have to make a graphic that pops up so that you know when I'm going to rant. You can go and get some coffee. Browsing TV. Now, us old guys used to have no problem browsing through all the TVs. We generally had a remote, and we could just go toot, 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 like that, or just grab the knob, and you could change all the channels, all 4 of them at that time, way back when, Mark, you might remember. And it was easy. There was no delay getting from one channel. So you could go CBS, ABC, CBS, UHF, whatever. This is like before even Fox. So it was so easy to do it because there was like a half a second. Yeah, Laura just said it's channel surfing. That's true. And channel surfing was a thing. And if you didn't know what you wanted to watch, you would just sit there and hit that channel up button or down button until you saw something that you enjoyed and would be kind of cool. Here's the problem, and Bill Maher made this a big deal a couple of weeks ago. You can't do that anymore. You can't channel surf as easily as you used to. Nowadays, if you're going to, like watching NFL on YouTube or on YouTube TV, you just can't punch the button to go to the next channel or the next game. You have to go to the main area, then you got to go to the NFL, then you got to select NFL, and then you got to go to the specific. You have to really know what you're looking for in order. So channel surfing is kind of a thing of the past, and I miss it. I miss being able to do that because, Alex, what are you looking for? He's looking at something. Is something falling through from above? It's distracting. Alex is going like this while I'm talking. So I don't know. He's smiling now. Go ahead. Switch to you. Go ahead. Switch. Make your comment.
Okay. Well,
you're
didn't
looking
really
at something
need to,
on the ceiling.
You didn't need to call
strange.
that out. I've got a problem with one of my DMX lights. The color has changed on me.
I'm sorry. I thought your cat was crawling along the ceiling, like this, like Spider-Man, something like that. So anyhow, channel surfing. Where to go?
You've confused me about this because the few times I do watch TV, I still just go, I type in the number I want and go straight to the channel.
Yeah, but it's not
You
like
can't
the
do that
button where you go,
anymore?
beep, 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 beep. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
like
there's
that.
too many of them. You break the clicker.
Well, there's too many, and the time it takes to grab the channel, and then I guess it has to buffer. It's not a 1 second push.
So Comcast in Southern Delaware now has a clicker that you press a button and just talk to it. Hey, I'm looking for this show. Hey, I want sports. And it just goes right to a channel.
What if I don't know what I want? And I'm used to just sitting there like a zombie in my easy chair, just hitting the button. Bip, bip, bip. That's what channel surfing used to be.
I understand.
You could get to the
channel. What you can do is
I
say,
understand that.
I don't know what to watch, and it'll take you to, the shopping channel.
How about I don't want the shopping channel to be on my list of channels anymore, or whatever. I don't know. It's complicated and confusing for me as an older guy. Here's it. The world of television or viewing of multimedia, you have to know what you're looking for. You have to go to it in such a way that you dig deep to find it. I don't even remember sometimes what channel, whether it's Landman. That's Paramount. I think that's on Paramount. But you have to know that it's on Paramount to go to Paramount and then search there. If you go to Netflix and look for Landman, you're not going to find it. And I don't think there's an aggregation system. Maybe Apple TV does it.
I was just going to say, I think Apple TV is trying to do that because now you just go to their main menu, hold the side of the newest and latest clicker, and just say what you're looking for, and it'll go find it. Even if it's not on Apple TV, it'll find it on Netflix. It'll find it anywhere where it can find it.
God, so I'm just saying, sometimes what's old is not new again, or it's annoying that you just can't channel surf like a zombie. And how many people have spent time digging through Netflix to try to find something watchable? It's just really
it's no different.
complicated.
We're talking about these are two very different conventions, right? So channel surfing because the content is live, and then versus on demand. But I mean, it is no different. Yeah, I mean, you just called that out Mitch, right? Whether you're channel surfing or, whether it takes you 30 minutes to kind of just scroll and scroll and scroll and try to find something, read the description. Oh, that seems interesting. Maybe I'll put that on. It's the same thing. You're wasting just as much time doing it. I don't know why. Was Bill Maher? I didn't watch the segment. Is he nostalgic for that? I don't understand why anyone would be nostalgic for channel surfing. It's
He just said he liked
infuriating.
the idea that he could just push a button and it would instantly go to the next channel. Boom, 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 like that.
Yeah, but if
And
you
that
ask
was a
people
way.
our age, if I grew up in Washington, I would say 4, 7, 9, and 20. Those were the channels you could switch between growing up. If you were in Baltimore, it was 2, 3, what was it was the odds, 2, 3, and 9 or whatever.
But then
So,
cable TV came along, and all of a
and
sudden all
now
these
you have
channels
a
started
plethora
appearing.
of choices.
Plethora. Love that word.
Yes, of choices.
It's a good one.
Way
And
too
there
many.
is a benefit. Like I woke up in the middle of the night, as some older guys will do, and I just didn't want to go back to sleep or I didn't feel like it. So I went to Amazon and Amazon Prime, and it offered up some suggestions of shows that I wanted to do. There was a Spanish, a French war movie starring Cary Grant and Frank Sinatra. And I just the billing alone made me want to look at it. But if that's a casting car crash, if I've ever seen one, it is. They have Cary Grant and Frank Sinatra playing these military characters. Frank was some kind of Spanish guy that was fighting against the French and Napoleon, and Cary Grant was playing an English general, and they were hauling this giant cannon around. And it was just an absurd and stupid movie premise, and it was so bad, it was such a train wreck, that I had to watch it from beginning to end just so I could say, oh, thank God I didn't watch that. It's like roadkill. You ever look ahead in the road and you see something has been hit by a car, and you slow down to look down and say, oh, God, that's horrible. And you're saying, why did I stop to do that? I think it's something innate in our bodies or our genetic makeup that forces us to look at things that are that are interesting, or maybe you're sorry you did it. And it's like, I just can't help myself. I can't help. So, yeah, you think human beings are weird. Human beings are the only creatures on the planet that when a disaster strikes, we run towards the disaster because we're very interested in seeing what the hell happened. Most creatures that have a silicon of a brain run away from potential danger. We run towards it. What is that all about? So maybe that's part of the channel surfing thing, is that they gotta be involved in the whole thing. Am I just crazy, or am I just babbling away here and wasting everybody's time?
No, I think the whole thing with it having content. Look, I don't even think it's an issue because, yes, maybe speed wise, when you're channel surfing, over the traditional over the air broadcast, that stuff just shows up instantaneously. But if you have fast broadband, I mean, I've never noticed any discernible delay, not enough to really annoy me. Like when I hit play, it starts up. There might be a slight delay if something's broadcast in Dolby Vision or HDR, where the TV has to negotiate and get into HDR mode. But most TVs and most electronics are able to negotiate that and change the resolution and HDR very, very, very quickly. So I've never noticed the problem. I just think it's a non-issue. And I think, did we lose Mitch again? I think we lost Mitch.
We lost Mitch again.
Yeah. But Mark, I mean, does this stuff annoy you at all, as far as the way our current landscape of on-demand media? I mean, is it irritating for you when you're just
Well, I think
randomly scrolling and scrolling and scrolling?
part of the problem is that there's just an overwhelming volume of material that you can watch, and how much of it is worth watching. A lot. There's just so much
Right.
junk out there trying to compete for your time. So I think what's interesting is Steven chimed in and said you can just use YouTube and look at the web interface. Even YouTube's got so many different things to look at that you can just get caught up watching shorts for an hour. But overall, I think, in years gone by, you could look at a TV guide on a Sunday that came out for the whole week, and you knew what you wanted to watch, and you try and set time aside that day ahead of time. Now because of all the on demand, you have so many choices.
Well, that's very true. And
And
I
that
think
brings us back to live. When it's live, it can be interactive, and it can't be on demand. We can't
exactly.
hear you, Mitch.
I think Mitch is back now.
Yeah, I'm sort of back. I'm sorry about that. I've got to replace my USB hub. I'll have it done inside a week. I apologize. It's either eat or pay for a new hub. So I'm going to be thinner next time you see me. I'll have that problem fixed. All right, things are different. Things are changing. I think Mark frames a very interesting point, and that is we are so challenged by so many things that vie for our attention nowadays that it's very hard to make choices, how to best use your time. And I think back, one of the interesting things before there was the internet, when I was a young tyke, when we gathered around the dinner table. And by the way, there was a time where the whole family sat around the table and had dinner together, and the usual things would happen, or disasters might happen. But after we had our meal, which was a social gathering where we discussed things socially, because we didn't have the internet, what did your parents let you do after you got done? Before, let's say you got your homework done and you're allowed to do whatever you want to do for playtime. You needed to fill that available time. TV was not it, because on TV, there wasn't anything on before 8 o'clock. So all the good shows came on at 9. So you had about a 3-hour window where you had to do something. Mark, what did you do when you were a kid and you finished your dinner and your parents told you to get out of the house? Did you do anything?
Oh, well, during the summertime when there wasn't school and it was still light out, we go out and, do what kids did back then. You rode bikes and dirt bikes. You set up tires with a piece of plywood and did jumps, or you played kick the can, whatever you did back then. But there was no TV to sit in front of watching games or doing gaming
No.
or anything like that. It was all exercise. Kids were a lot skinnier back then.
It's true. And look what happened since then, to me anyhow. So there was no iPhones. There was no social media. There were games that we played, kick the can. There was another term. It was smear the, but I'm not going to finish it because it's an obnoxious term. But it wasn't, yeah, exactly. There were so many things that you could do. And my parents would say, hey, look, you can go out and do whatever you want. We weren't supervised. We did a lot of crazy shit that today, when you think of it, was like, what? They did what? He blew up the mailbox with a bomb? Or he like you say, he was jumping 10 feet in the air on a dirt bike or something like that. The parents didn't hover. They didn't mother us. It was kind of like, oh, go out and just come back, and if you break your leg, all right, we'll fix that. A little scratch here and there. We were told to come in when the street lights came on, so that was bad until the winter came around. Alex, what do you do, or what was the earliest memory you have of going out before social media?
I have a lot of memories because I grew up also before cell phones, before the internet, and we did a lot of stuff. I did a lot of biking. We'd get together with friends. We would do a lot of biking, and we weren't really, once I got old enough, I guess, I think I was about 10 or 11. My mom trusted me to go out on my own with friends. And, some of the stuff that we did was certainly dangerous. I'll never forget, there was a couple doors down from where I was living. There was this house that was under construction. And, for
You
like
stole
a little
plywood from there, didn't you?
we didn't steal anything, but we actually, now this is dangerous. There's tools, all sorts, like rebar sticking up, like really super, like one little slip and you could impale yourself. So not a safe thing to do as a kid, but we had a lot of fun. We were just looking at all this stuff and just messing around. So, modern day parenting probably wouldn't allow, I know how my sister parents her kids, and she would never ever let them go out and do something like that. But also, you were allowed to be bored. Remember that feeling of just being bored? And now it's impossible to be bored because you are constantly this thing's wired into your brain. There is absolutely no room for boredom anymore, which I don't think is very good.
Yeah, Steve Stryker says that you go out and rob the nearest Tim Horton.
Why,
So I'm not sure what
Steve,
that means.
you
The
saw
coffee
right
shop.
you saw right through me.
Yeah,
It's
it's
the
all right
coffee
for you.
shop.
So
And that brings up another point. When I was growing up, nobody my age liked the taste of coffee. Now you go into a coffee shop and there's kids drinking all kinds of coffee drinks because they're so full of sugar these days.
yeah,
Yeah, but also
and
coffee was bad back then. I mean, there wasn't Starbucks commercialized like set a new standard in
For
terms
bad
of the
coffee?
quality for well, no, for in comparison to what was available before and from store-bought coffee, Starbucks was a big step up. So,
and the idea that you weren't supervised. That was a big deal back then. Is that your parents let you go out and do whatever the heck you
Yeah,
wanted?
they never knew where you were. You just had to come back at a certain
Exactly.
time.
And come back at a certain time. But we used to wander far. We'd go to next door neighborhood next to our neighborhood. I lived in a place called Canterbury Hills, and we'd go over to Westgate Farms, and mischief night was every night. So we would go over there and do mischief and other bad stuff. So I'm just saying that there's some good about what's happening with social media and the iPhone is it might keep you glued to your chairs, because I can't tell you how many times I go out to eat or go somewhere socially and all I see are the kids with their, I don't even know where my phone is. Oh, there it is. It's all like this, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, and
It's
they're
like,
chatting to the person across the table from them.
exactly. Or taking pictures of the food they're getting ready to eat. I'm not really that interested in what you eat. So I'm just saying, we're acknowledging that things have changed. And that's all part of being the last angry DJ, is that I can complain about the way things were and how convenient things are today. And notice I haven't even brought up AI yet, and I'm not going to bring it up today because we talk about it too much, and Alex doesn't like the word anyhow. So I watched a show the other day where Alex said, please stop using that word. So one thing I would like to have happen on today is that currently we have 159 subscribers on YouTube. Can somebody just press the button, get us to 160? Like right now. If you haven't done it, please do it now. Please do it now. I'm going to look like a really bad NPR public television proposal, but we just want one extra subscriber to get it to 160. Now, we appreciate those that have pushed the button, but really kill you to smash the subscribe button just so we can see the numbers go up. Every time you do that, another boffin earns its wings. So keep that in mind. There's going to be plenty of boffins hovering overhead, expectorating above your head, doing whatever boffins do when they're flying about. Okay, good enough for that. Another complaint, a Mitch bitch, as it were, inappropriate FaceTiming. How many people actually use FaceTime? It's like the Apple version of this, Zooming, or Teams or whatever else. It's like the second cousin. Sometimes I use it. Most of the time, it hits me at a bad time. Maybe I'm sleeping and I'm not properly dressed, and my hair's, what little I have, is going over, and somebody wants to FaceTime with me. And sometimes I don't even know I'm FaceTime. All of a sudden, the camera's live. How do you feel about that, Alex, about FaceTiming, inappropriate FaceTiming?
I don't like calls, period. And if adding the video component out of the blue, it's very rare that I don't actually, fortunately, I don't get a lot of calls. If I do get a call, it's usually scheduled, even with my family. But I call my dad pretty often. But sometimes I'll use FaceTime because the audio quality is quite a bit superior to a standard phone call. So I do like the audio only portion of it. The video, very rarely used. I like that the technology is certainly available, but no, random calls. First of all, my phone is set up so that, like, unless you're in my top favorite list, it won't even ring. So
I don't even have
I've
your
set,
phone number. I can't call you if I wanted to.
well, I
Maybe
think you
that's
have,
why.
I think you have my number. Maybe I blacklisted you.
I don't think I've ever used it, so I don't call you. I call Mark every once in a while.
Yeah. No, I
Mark,
FaceTime. We did FaceTime at
Christmas
time. I did.
Yeah,
I did
got
FaceTime.
to meet Mike.
Yeah.
How's his arm doing, or shoulder?
It's a lot better. Thanks for asking. Yeah, he's starting to get his range of motion back. I think he's probably a few months away from golfing. The weather's pretty bad, anyways, for golfing right now. But yeah, he's on the mend. So
yeah, that's painful. It ruined my.
Oh,
There he goes again.
And we've got Max headroom happening here with with Mitch's
Man.
video signal again. He'll pop back in momentarily there, but I think it's funny because I have two nephews and they're twins. They're 10 years old now, and I'm a little concerned for the next generation because they didn't grow up with ever being bored. They grew up with a tablet. They could always play video games 24/7. My sister's responsible. She monitors their time, and actually I appreciate that she doesn't let them spend too much time on devices. And some parents are very, very lax with that. But I am a little concerned that people are so addicted to these devices that they can't. And look, I've had to work at this too. I've had this problem in the past of just trying to engage with people, and when I'm in a conversation, just put this thing away and have a real face-to-face conversation. But how do you feel about that, Mark? Are you concerned for younger
it's
people
interesting
now?
having 3 kids that are now in their early 20s. If my wife and I were to try and call them, they would never answer the phone. You have to text them to say, we're calling you. But in general, with regard to FaceTime, I think an unscheduled FaceTime is just plain rude. You just need to schedule the things like Zoom calls and FaceTimes. Picking up the phone and dialing somebody, we're all used to, but um, it kind of takes over your phone when somebody's trying to FaceTime you.
Oh yeah, it's completely obnoxious. Mitch, do you get a lot of unscheduled FaceTime calls?
Yeah, I do. I usually just pull my shirt off. Immediately they hang up on me, so it's not a problem. And by the way, I'm so sorry that I keep dropping out. I'm going to have this problem fixed, but I could go out anytime. That's 3 that I count so far where I
No
dropped
need
out.
to apologize. We'll bring you back in when that happens.
Thanks.
But
I appreciate
that's I feel like that's a great deterrent for telemarketers. Just FaceTime. Hey, would you like to FaceTime? I'm going to turn on my camera, and nobody
usually
will
answer the
ever
phone.
call you again.
I usually answer when I see that it's a spammer. I'll go on and say, "Thank you for calling Mitch Hill. If you have something you'd like to talk to Mitch about, press 1. If you're selling something, press 2." And I'll go through the whole thing. And then, I'll hear them make a selection. "You have selected 5." And then they go, "No, it was 2. Thank you for selecting 1. Your answer to your question is 42. Thank you for calling." Just launch into the radio voice, and that blows them off pretty fast. And then what's the other thing? My bitch about telemarketers, let's get me on a roll here, is that they should pay phone service. That should be all handled by telemarketers. They pay for your phone. So you call anyhow. Why did you? Okay, when you call, you pay. You pay for the service.
Well, I just ask them for a credit card number when I answer the phone.
If
and
it's
they
a real
stutter
person.
and they say, "What?" And I say, "My time is money. Give me your credit card number." Click.
Yeah, my favorite one is the guy calling me. I've got to start recording these, by the way. Calling me to sell solar service to the house. Did you know that the government can subsidize your solar collectors? And I said,
now let me understand this. Is you telling me that you're pulling solar panels? Where does the power come from?
well, the power comes from the sun.
You're tapping into the sun? What happens if everybody does it? The sun will go blank. It'll be gone. And we're sucking all that power out of the sun. In fact, it's getting dark right now.
Sir, it's like 6 o'clock at night in the winter. And
You're doing it. You're pulling the sun's rays and turning it all into solar power.
What kind of a car do you drive? And they just get so apologetic about it. Like, sir, I don't know if they think I'm putting them on. You know what it is? I think it is I'm on a list somewhere. Call this guy if you're getting bored at your job. Call this guy because he's a nutcase. He goes crazy every time. What are you going to do? Anyhow, telemarketers, yeah, don't get me started. It's a pretty crazy thing. All right, we started talking about this before the show. What is the official maximum volume on your TV? We were talking about TVs. So that when you change the channel, one channel is super loud, the other one's not quite as loud. They seem to be getting their act together, so there's a consistency between channels. And Mark, you're in broadcasting. What is the standard for television loudness, because sometimes it's really annoying, especially when a commercial comes on.
Well, I think, and I'm not sure because TV is different than radio, but that it's 23 LUFS. And I don't know, Canada might be different, but
Sounds like a
using
sailing term.
using the chat GPT, it says 23 LUFS for TV.
23. We do 24 here, and Office Hours does 24 last I checked. Weren't they at
And I
18
know
at one point?
when I've put the same meters we use here on the radio station, it's about 12.
Huh. But it goes to 11, right, Steve?
I'm pretty, yeah, that was a funny comment Steve Stryker made. I'm pretty sure in Canada it's negative 23 or 24. It's the same, it's that whatever EBU standard that we're using here. But I'm so glad that Calm Act went into play for commercials, because I remember as a kid, that just drove me crazy. You'd be watching a show and it'd be one level, and all of a sudden a commercial for Tide comes on. It says like, blah. This is like, whoa. And then you're scrambling. Where's the roll? I got to lower the volume.
Yeah.
Hey, before the clicker, you had to get up and walk over to the TV set and turn it down.
Oh, I don't
Do you
miss
remember
those
what
days.
was your first clicker? What did it look like?
Um,
I know the first one, but you
we
tell me
didn't
yours
have,
first.
I was the clicker. But after I was the clicker, after I was the clicker, my uncle had a clicker that was connected by a cable. And it had
Okay.
three little, and then the next one, was it the next one? Had 3 prongs. And you change the channel and the prongs would change. I don't know exactly what they were doing. Probably
first
changing
one
the frequency.
was made by Zenith, and it was a little box, and it had tuning forks in it of a sort, the little tubes that would make a signal.
So that
and the
that
TV
explains
would
what that-
listen for those tones. It was called a Space Commander. So I actually had a Space Commander. That to me was the neatest thing. I still like the idea. Mark, turn the channel to 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got to let you be the channel changer. And by the way, any questions coming up or comments that we can bring into the show?
Steven
we need to
says,
encourage people. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
Steven says that the standard sound for TV is 11.
He's
I
kidding.
don't know what units.
He's a Spinal Tap fan.
Could be 7 or it could be 11. I'm not sure.
But it's one bigger, don't you know?
7.
Okay.
11.
And by the way, Steve, I know you're my friend and all, but you have now exceeded the actual number of comments that you can make on YouTube. You are now banned for the rest of the show
He's
for any
reached
more
his
YouTube
quota.
comments. Yeah,
He's
your
got
quota
a-
has been maxed out. He's got like 20 comments.
He's got a
and
last
after
angry
the-
DJ strike.
He's got a strike against him. So leave some room for some of the other guys that usually come on the show. So anything migrating over to our friends at Discord?
Nothing that
Is it
I've
crickets
seen
over
so
there?
far.
All right.
Usually
I'm
our
not on the
pretty
Discord.
quiet.
Okay, great. And have we managed to get to 160? Because I did put that call out.
Let's. Well,
So
we can check.
I'm
You wanna
afraid to
check
touch
live
anything on my
the
computer.
Show here.
Yeah, do the
Live
refresh.
on the
See,
show. Studio.
because Alex went and checked, and there's like 45, 50 people that are not, they watch, thank you, but they don't subscribe.
All
You
right,
are at
congratulations,
160.
Mitch. Congratulations, we're at 160.
Yes, we made it to 160. Time to celebrate. I'm going to Arby's. Going to have a big beef and cheddar. By the way, do a search on YouTube for the Batman Arby's commercial. They got Adam West on there having a garage sale in front of the Batcave. And he's trying to get enough money so he could go out and get an Arby's sandwich.
Yeah, I feel like, have I seen that? That's funny.
Adam West looks pretty good for an old guy that used to be a caped crusader, as it were. So that was kind of fun. So check that out. And that's the other thing. If you have, for example, something you've seen on YouTube, can we bring YouTube content onto our show? Because I notice other talk pundits, podcasters bring little snippets on. Are we allowed to reference them?
You can, but you got to be really careful. So one thing you need to avoid is you want to avoid anything for any kind of live incorporating a live streaming event from somebody else. Like Apple is on that. If you do that, so for example, if you try to when Apple's doing a live event, if you try to incorporate, do a picture in picture, your stream will get taken down like right away. So you want to avoid big live events from big companies like that. You can take interest. I think you can take. There's lots of YouTubers that take clips from movies and TV shows and just throw these little interstitials in. So you can do stuff like that. But man, Apple will get you in trouble.
And it's a shame. They have to be the Gestapo of sound bites on the show. So what are you going to do? It's a pain in the butt. By the way, did I bring us down? Are we still at 4K? Because I'm looking at my picture and looks like it might have dropped. Did I cause it to drop when I went away?
Think so. No, I don't think so.
We're just checking to make sure that's all good. All right. Well, that about wraps up another Broadcast Boffins edition. We have a guest coming next week, to be determined. And we got a number of other people. And I'm still trying to get Adam Carolla, to come on as our guest. He would be interesting because he's a comedian. He's got a hugely popular program. I have invited, and I will again invite all the big podcasters to come on the show. Come on down, Joe Rogan. But I don't think we're ever going to hear him. You know what? Who I'd like to have? Neil deGrasse Tyson. I find he's a very interesting scientist. Whatever. He has lots of interesting comments to make, and hopefully not about religion, but about stuff that's going on. Like there's a new. I'm always into this. There's a new asteroid that's scheduled to slam into the Earth in 7 years. And thank God it's only in 7 years, so we have time to look forward to it. So it's the size of a Greyhound bus, which means that if it hits a city, it's going to put that city away. It's going to be gone. So asteroids, always an interesting subject. I'd love to have Neil deGrasse Tyson on, or that other guy. Who's that UFO guy that claims he's been all over Area 51? He's like on Rogan's all the time. Turin? Turturro? I'm trying to think of his name. Anyhow, lots of people out there. We'd love to get him on. We're not the biggest shovel in the shed, but we're slowly climbing the subscription. We got one more listener as a regular, so congratulations to us for that. And I guess there's no way to check at this time how many audio only people. A lot of people like listen in their car. I know I'm looking at you, Ray Franklin. I know you like to get your Tesla out there and tune in the Last Angry DJ, which is kind of cool. So those are just some of the other things that are going on. No last minute questions. We've got Ernesto says 2029. That's when that Greyhound bus thing's going to rocket into the world. And luckily, Steve has putting a rest to his thumbs for the rest of the show. Thank you very much for everybody for being here. It's the Last Angry DJ. And one last time, Alex, how do they reach out to us?
Yes, people can reach out to us on Discord. We talked about that earlier on the show, so I'm going to leave our QR code up here for a little bit there. If you scan that, you'll be able to get into the community and chat with us on the show. There are multiple other ways you can chat with us as well. You can send us a message on social media at The Last Angry DJ. You can send us an email by going to hello@thelastangrydj.com. And of course, we are we're available everywhere. Also, if you'd like to contribute to this show, if you like what you're hearing, if you want to support what we're doing, you can go to patreon.com/The Last Angry DJ. That's patreon.com/The Last Angry DJ and become what we call a coffee supporter and give $2 a month. And that helps us out as well. Of course, you can share the show with a friend. Let other people know. If you're in the world of broadcast, if you're a podcaster, or if you're in the world of radio, share it with other people. Maybe you're an engineer and you got other engineer friends. Spread the word. We would sincerely appreciate it. Of course, also, we'd like to thank everybody on the back end, everyone that makes this show possible as well. So thanks to Boink Software and specifically Oliver Breinbach at Boink Software for really allowing us to use this incredible production tool, and also who was very helpful this week in helping us troubleshoot some of our technical issues. Now we're back up and running, so thank you to Oliver, and also thanks to Mark Giuliani, who is now pretty much a regular on this show, who is an integral voice And we really appreciate your perspective as a radio station owner who really has the pulse on the, sort of the finger on the trigger and understands what's happening in the industry. And of course, Laura Thompson on the back end, who also helps us manage questions. Mark also manages questions in our Q&A system as well. So thank you for that. And hopefully I'm not missing anyone. All the people that were on the live show today as well. Hershey, Ernesto, Steve Stryker. Who else was there? Vintage Nouveau was there. Hopefully I'm not missing anyone. If you're just lurking and you didn't post a comment, well, that's your own damn fault. You should say something.
Ooh, we
next
cursed.
time.
You don't curse.
That's about it. Over to
It's
you.
all
Mitch.
good. All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Episode 51 in the can, as they say in the showbiz. I don't know why it's a can, but apparently that's where stuff goes when you're finished with it. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your questions. We should have an interesting guest. Go to Discord if you want to see who our guests are. There's an announcement category there. At least by Thursday, Alex will post who it is that's coming on board. So thank you so very much for being here. Take a moment to watch our credits so you have an idea of how many people are involved in making a show successful. See you. Bye.